What's going on, guys? Today we're working with a tight upper back, and this tight upper back is really pulling on my buddy Evan here. So what's going on is whenever he's doing schoolwork, whenever he's doing any kind of activities as far as like powerlifting, he's feeling a big pull on one side versus the other. So whenever he goes into the squat rack, he picks up his arm and he really feels a big pull. And right here I can feel a pretty good medium-sized knot. Now, what I'm gonna do for it today is we're just gonna do some light effleurage work. So we're just gonna go ahead and just polish in like this. I'm thinking that a little bit of toxin therapy would do some wonders for this. But as for right now, this is basically when you're dealing with upper back tightness, do real light work. So that's what we're gonna do for a little bit. And what I'm feeling right here is so up here, I felt it really, really tight and I felt it let go. Now as I'm coming back down here, you can really feel how this mid to lower back is pulling. And you notice right there, it just kind of stops and then it shifts into this. Basically, this is the trapezius, right? But a lot of your tension is all right there, and then you see then it goes into your trapezius, that's kind of normal for you to have that one, and then you have a little bit of tension right in here. But all that's already loosening up. Now it's all about warming up this lower back. Because remember, when you're looking at, something that's like kind of residual, as far as this clump of adhesions that we're feeling inside in the shoulder blade, everything affects everything. So if you have tightness here, there's chances that you're gonna have some tightness in the shoulders when you're doing shoulder press. And you're also gonna have tightness right here in your lower back, because guess what? The lower back has to engage when you squat. And if it's already struggling because of this tightness right here, and it's causing your shoulder to peel back when you're sitting in that squat rack, chances are that the residual tightness that's hiding in these other little areas is gonna tighten up as well. Now, even though we've just started, you can already feel that like loosening up. See that? It's not as bad right here. Still really, really bad down here. But we'll keep working it. Right there. Just on there. So one thing that I also want to check on Evan here is I want to make sure that his Iliopsoas is good. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an actual Iliopsoas stretch, and it's one of my favorites. So the Iliopsoas starts on the lesser trochanter of the femur. You have this little area where a muscle starts, and it actually connects to the front of the spine. So right here where I'm touching right now, that's the back of the spine. There's a muscle that connects to the front of the spine. And the only way that you can really touch it is by either one, working through the abdominal cavity and pushing pretty deep in there, or two, you work the iliopsoas by stretching, right? So that's what we're gonna be doing. So right here, I'm grabbing his ankle. I want you guys to kind of focus right here. Evan, go ahead, take a deep breath in and out. And all this right here, by me pulling back, he's gonna feel that a stretch in the quad and in the lower back end right there. 2, 4, and then go ahead and take a deep breath in, out. We're gonna pull again. 1, 2, 3, 4, right there. And deep breath in and out. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there we go. You kind of feel it warm up a little bit, right? As soon as I felt that stretch at the very peak right there, I felt it warm up, and now you can definitely feel that tightness is loosening up. Look at that. If I push down deep enough, now you can still see it move, but the pressure that I was using before isn't having such as a reaction. Even in the trap, you see that? Look at this. See how when we went up before, you feel it like pull big time right here? And that trap feels more nice and relaxed. Why is that trap feeling more relaxed? Because we're working all the areas that really have a lot of tension and are carrying tension into that shoulder. So your lower back and mid back is all pulling, and your upper back is trying to compensate for a tight mid lower back. You see it in there? Now we're getting that. Now me, I have these hypermobile joints, but typically for someone who doesn't have like a hypermobile thumb, you would want to keep your thumb straight to protect your thumb, so you go straight down like this, right? And that's a good way to keep your thumbs nice and proactive for overuse. For me, this is all right for me. I don't like to do it too much, but I will catch myself doing it, and I know that it's not as detrimental as it would be for another massage therapist, because you know, my thumbs have a little bit more hypermobility. But I try not to do that too often, because no matter what, even if it's hypermobile or not, it's always good to keep the practice of having that thumb straight when you're going through. And there we go, we can't even hear the pop anymore. You hear it a little bit more right here, but the one over here, it's clean. So what we're gonna do now, what I really want to do for all of this right here is I want to get a deep pull. So what we're going to do is we're going to do myofascial decompression, which is cupping. So I'm going to get these cups, we're going to put them on his lower back area right here. I'm getting all the cups ready, and all right, and so now when we're applying the cups, we're trying to trace out where all the tension is at, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm actually trying to follow where all the tension is at. And I'm gonna do a little bit of tuck-in therapy right here, and then we'll apply that cup in a moment. But for right now, I'm gonna trace for the rest of it. And then I'll even show you a generic cupping procedure that you can do if you really don't see the tension and you don't know how to follow it necessarily. And I'll show you how to do a more basic strategy for cupping after we do this side. So right there, I'm gonna go ahead and leave that on, and now I'm gonna set a timer for 5 minutes. Set a timer for 5 minutes.
Sure, minutes, and we're starting now.
And there we go. So we're gonna go in here into this trap area. And we're gonna go ahead and Hey Evan, how does that feel? Does it hurt?
No.
Right? Everyone sees this hammer and they think it's on automatically Pain City. And no. I would say that my actual massaging is more of the pain than the hammer itself. I'm gonna take off this cup real quick because I can feel it pull just a little bit right there. There we go. Now that feels really, really good. There we go. Now that feels good. I'm gonna go ahead and put the cup back on. So here we go. One. And then right here. And one more right here. Yeah, we'll do one right here. Because this all feels pretty relaxed. Alright, so now leave them on for 5 minutes and then we're gonna chill out and we'll check back in a moment. Alright, now the ringer went off. It's been about 5 minutes. We had one cup fall off. This one cup is over here. Usually when that one cup falls off, it's a good sign because it means that there's good blood flow in that area. Now, what we want to look at for when we're looking at all of these areas is any discolorization. Now, I do have some people in the comments that say, oh, well, it doesn't matter, it's always going to be the same color. Depends on how many pumps you put on it. And that is not true because up here I haven't worked as much and you can see that little bit of purple on half of the circle. But it's because these I have not worked as much as these. Up over here, you can kind of see these are a little bit lighter. This is a little bit darker. We got some darkness over here, right? And this is where a lot of his tension kind of stayed. Like I mentioned before, a lot of that tension, is due to compensation. So his middle lower back is actually compensating for his upper back. And these we barely put on. And in reality, you guys saw right here, right now, that I barely put this one on up here. But you can see that purple right here. You see this? More relaxed. Why? Because I worked this area more. This area I didn't work as much. And you can see that little dark purple spot. That's not the shade. That's actually purple right there. So noticing this discolorization, it's due to the fact that the fascia in the area is very, very tight, and it's still causing some lack of blood flow. But for the majority of this massage and this purpose that we're doing over here, look at that. That is so much better. It's not jumping as much. It's still jumping a little bit, but nowhere near as much. That little bit that we're experiencing down here, guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna do some tuck-in therapy right here. So we're gonna see if the fascia needs to be forced. So we're gonna just do this. How does it feel, Evan?
Just pressure.
Just pressure?
Yeah.
Does it hurt?
No.
No pain? Good. Now look at this. Look at that. Immediately. And you do a little bit here on the lower back, just a little bit more, but all of this cleared up immensely. So now we're gonna come back down over here. And look at that, boom, boom. Much, much, much better. Now that is one awesome back session right here. There we go. Okay, so now we're gonna do this other side. Let's check it out. Now this side is nowhere near as bad. Have a little bit of tension. So immediately, what do I feel? Well, I don't feel the same knot as we did on the other side where it was up here. There is slightly, but it's nowhere near the same. But where do I do feel the tension the same? Right down here in this mid to lower back. Same thing, we're experiencing the same kind of tension. Can you feel that?
Oh yeah.
Right? And you know, you come in and you think, oh hey, it's my upper back's tight. But that's why it's so important that when you're working all this area, see, we can feel tension here, and it can pull into the rhomboids. But in reality, the erector spinae are so tight right here in the mid lower back, it's gonna pull on those rhomboids. And those rhomboids are on the receiving end. But we're not really clearing anything out by working that. It's a symptom. The root cause is going to be here in the mid to the lower back. Now what we're gonna do again, doing a lot of effleurage, we're gonna try to get this to relax a little bit before we go on and do the myofascial decompression. And I'm gonna show you again, for this one, it doesn't feel the same as the other. So because of that, I'm gonna be able to show you the generic way to cup. And by the generic way, I'm sure there's many generic ways to do it. But when I learned cupping, this was the basic way that I learned. Before doing this, I do feel a pretty big ball right here. Here on the lower back portion, it already cleared up. So if I go right here, see that? Nothing. Right here. See that? I feel that pull right in here, right there. Okay. And then it kind of loosens up a little bit, like right here, and then it starts tightening up a little bit right here. And then it loosens up, and this is where he's feeling his tension. So we're gonna clear up the root issue, and then we're gonna go up to the main issue. So I'm gonna do it with tuxin therapy. Look at that difference already. You're not getting that jump as much, but I mean, man, just in a moment, that tension just melted away with 1, 2. Boom. Right there. I really want to get this last piece in. There we go. now let's let the cupping begin to do the rest of the work for us. All right, now I'm gonna set up the cups. Let me show you the way that I learned cupping. All right, so this is the basic. We're gonna apply 4 cups this way. 1, because this is cupping for the mid back. If you're doing it for the upper, you start up here, but we're doing mid. So we're gonna start with 1, right here, 2. I wanna keep it on more on the inner portion of the spine because all of this pressure is on this side. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or sorry, 4 right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4 cups, right? The next portion, we're gonna go in between each one of these cups, and we're gonna do 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so exactly the same. 1, 2, and I'm doing 3 pumps. 1, 2, 3. So now we got 3 cups. Now, in between these 3 cups, we're gonna do 2 more. 1, 2. Or that was 3 pumps, so 1, 2, 3, and then these are 1, 2. Now, if you want to, usually with my cupping set, I only put down to 2 because I only have, usually I do it bilaterally, but since I'm not doing it bilaterally, I'm gonna do this right here. 1, 2, 3. So, boom. We're covering, it's kind of like, we start with 4, go down to 3, 2, and 1. This is your standard cupping method that you can do. You can ask anyone to do it, and generally, most of the time, it'll help. Now, because I can see that the tension doesn't stop there and it goes all the way up here, I'm gonna continue to follow it. And I'm gonna work all the way up. And you see that same idea, I'm doing it right here. So I put 2 right here, I put a gap right there, I see a gap right here, and this is where some of the tension is. So where the gaps are, I'm kind of filling it in with the cup. And I'm not really seeing too much tension up here, but I'm gonna do it anyways. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're just gonna work all around. Do that trapezius, 2, 3. Again, I don't see too much tension up there, but we're just doing it just because we have some extra cups, and why not? So this one's more scattered, right? This is where I'm following the tension in this area, and up here, I'm following more of the generic pattern. See that? 1, 2, 3, all the way down. So you have your 2 strategies that you can do and you can implement. You can do your basic strategy over here, or you can do your follow the tension, which is a more difficult way to do it, but in my opinion, it is a more optimal way. So that's why sometimes you'll see people who have cups that are symmetrical and they go bilaterally, which is both sides, or sometimes they're a little bit more random. And that's usually when the therapist is more following the tension and trying to figure out where it's at. So again, we'll check in about 5 minutes, and then we're gonna see where he's at. So we stopped the timer. It's been about 5 minutes. So now we're gonna go ahead and take off all these cups. Now again, remember, I didn't work this side as much, right? The other side I went through, I polished very, very deeply because it felt a lot tighter. And you may notice that already one of these circles is slightly darker than the others, which is telling us that there is more tightness in this area that I kind of was more lenient on. And although that there may be more tightness, with time, I can guarantee you that because this side is more relaxed, that the other side, with time, is going to find some relief and it's going to relax more. Because remember, the body reacts to one side and another side, right? So, boom, look at this. We left them all. In fact, this one I probably left on less time than these, slightly. And look at how much darker that is. So, again, people say that you're putting more pumps here, you're putting more pumps there. You saw clearly, I put the same pumps everywhere. And look at this. So then the question begs to be answered. Well, why is it? And it's going to be due to the fascia. And fascia connects to everything, right? It connects to muscle, it connects to tendons, ligaments, surrounds everything, keeps it all in line. If it does that, and there's chances that it's probably going to affect veins, arteries, and things of that nature. So by, again, relaxing some of the fascia, right, then it's going to allow better circulation. And if it has better circulation, well, guess what? Then it's going to be able to recover greater, so that, you know, your body's going to be able to bring more of that nutrients that you're putting into it to those areas and allow more muscular growth and more things of that nature, right? So, and there you go. So what we did to the other side that we haven't done to this side is that Iliopsoas stretch. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. So right here, I'm grabbing the ankle over here. Remember, we're gonna focus on this because this is where a lot of the tension's at. We're gonna pull over here. I'm grabbing, putting my hand underneath the knee, and I'm gonna place my hand over here. I'm gonna say, go ahead and take a deep breath in, out, and you may hear some pop sometimes, but that's not our goal, right? We're not chiropractors. We're not trying to pop anything. We're just simply stretching, and then trying to get that muscle to relax. So go ahead and take a deep breath in, out. I leave all that chiropractic stuff to the chiropractors. We're massage therapists. Our goal is not to focus on that. 10. And we're gonna take one more deep breath in. Out. 1, 2, 3. 10, 5. There we go. How does that feel?
Looser.
Good. Now you might have heard another pop. You know, again, we're not trying to pop anything. We're simply putting pressure. And if something wants to pop, it's going to pop on its own. Remember, muscle connects to bone. So if you relax muscle, chances are the bones may want to shift on their own. But again, as a massage therapist, that's not your goal. You do not want to be doing that. Our goal is to get the muscular structure to be as loose as possible. And if they decide that they need more of a hard adjustment to the bones, that's on the client, and they can go see a chiropractor for that. But our goal here as a massage therapist is to work with soft tissue, so that way everything else is easier to live with, easier to work with, and easier to be greater with. So guys, thank you again so much for tuning in. Be sure to check out some of my other videos, like and subscribe, and we will catch you on the next one. Evan, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling greater.
There you go.